Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and what I have here today is the 2024 Isuzu MU-X LSE 4x2, and I would like to thank so much to Isuzu Philippines for making this lend-out review possible. And yes, I decided to start off with the LSE 4x2 because I have already driven extensively the 4x4 at a lot of test drive events. Isuzu has been a staple in our local market when it comes to commercial vehicles and diesel engines. When it comes to PPVs and or mid-size SUVs, this is Isuzu's take on this segment. Now still in its second generation, we get the same puffy looks with its distinct matte and chrome grille with a lot of sensors and a camera. The ground clearance is still at 235mm along too with a wading depth of 800mm, which is around this high. For this 2024 model here in the country, there have been numerous updates given to this MU-X, which I will show you later on. Diesel engines have been a part of Isuzu's glory with over 20 million engines worldwide. Part of their success is that they make one of the most reliable engines ever, including two with this MU-X. Powering this is a 3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder diesel engine that produces 187 horsepower and 450 Newton meters of torque, mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Sadly, part of the 2024 updates that they removed the manual transmission for the base models. A good part of the update that this MU-X is still running on 20-inch wheels. It's a completely new design, and you get repeaters here too with cameras underneath, side steps, and shout out as well to overland kins. I assume they'll play a lot with this unit when it comes to the off-roading bit because as well Filipinos love making porma all of the SUVs in this segment. And now here at the rear of the Isuzu MU-X, well, generally it's been the same since its inception back in 2022. Now being the LSE 4x2 model, there's no more 4x4 badge here on the right side. You got a massive Isuzu badge over here. And if you can know the differences, this is like polycarbonate or plastic, and then the rest, I mean like the shell, it's metal like that. That's pretty unique. 3 ways of opening this. So of course you have an electronic tailgate, which is very handy in all SUVs nowadays. My God, why is it suddenly downpouring? Anyways, you can open the boot in the driver's side. There's 2 buttons over there. You can turn it off at will. And another thing, this one you have to be a little bit accurate on the position of the key. But if you just walk near the tailgate itself, this will automatically open. There's no kick to open feature for it, but it just detects that key, which is still handy in case you have to carry all of this stuff. Example, like all of my racing equipment. And the space here, if not mistaken, this is one of the most spacious too in this class. So you have a total here of 311 liters, which I'm not sure if it's totally 311 because usually this is like around 100 to 200 only. So underneath this false floor, there's extra storage, and here on the left side, you get a 12-volt socket along too with a halogen light, 2 threading hooks on either side, and when you fold the third row, it's pretty easy. Just pull these straps on either side and then push the seats down. That's, oh dang it, 1,119 liters. Now it's a bit more flexible. You can push these guys all the way in as long as you move the second row forward, mind you. And you can fold the second row and they as well tumble forward. It's not the annoying thing like example only with the Mitsubishi Monteros where you have to fold the down cushion and then push. You can finally push everything up. This is where the MU-X is key with its practicality. One of the few mid-size SUVs in this class which has more than 2,000 liters of space. As part of the 2024 update, starter up first, you get now a 360-degree camera, digital video recorder aka an onboard dashcam, and a wireless charging pad which you can turn on and off at will. And this is what I like with the upgrade with this MU-X. As well, speaking of the speakers itself, for a stock sound system, this is pretty good for what this is already. So back with this infotainment system, you get your radio functions and you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Very good with that, Isuzu. And in case and only if Apple CarPlay or Android Auto doesn't work, you have onboard navigation. Yeah, it takes a while to boot up, but in case it's pretty alright.
Please drive safely.
Yeah, so you can see all the maps is kind of laggy, and if you just want to pin a location, yeah, at least it still gets the job done. And as well, shout out to Isuzu Pasig and Miss Joanna for assisting me here earlier within the week before I got this lend out from Isuzu PH. I got to know more about this MU-X LSE 4x2. So if you want to know more about this MU-X in person, you may visit their dealer and contact Miss Joanna, located in the description down below. For your 360-degree camera, you get corner cameras as well. There's a 2D function, so you have a camera either left, right, front, and rear. If you go to the 3D mode, yeah, it's somewhat responsive here and there. I wish the quality is just a bit better. However, I will not complain any further because in some 4x2s out there, this is completely absent. At least Isuzu retained this for the 4x2 model. And then for your DVR functions, pretty standard. So it will randomly activate in the time I had this vehicle in case you suddenly brake or there's someone here on the blind spot, like a crazy motorcycle trying to make seeing it. And for example, yeah, it will start recording. That's how I see it only. I've not played fully with the DVR function. And to a part of this 2024 update, hilariously, I found this in the infotainment system itself. These are your color options and new to the color schemes is this Norwegian blue color. And of course, for the demo stuff, I decided to leave it in Norwegian blue because that blue is one of the best I've encountered so far in any of the SUVs in this class. You get a clinometer, and it's pretty nice too that they decided to retain this feature even though this is just a 4x2 model. But I tried this out literally in Antipolo, one of the steepest on-road hills I've ever encountered so far. And if you're gonna off-road this heavily despite being a 4x2 model, this will just do the job too. Here in the door cars, there's a lot of plastics here and there, but you have leather soft pads here for your elbow and more of them on top here of the window switches with white stitching all around. Same too with the seats, it's all blacked out. You get electronic adjustments for the driver's seat, but sadly for this passenger, it's all manual. And first time I've encountered this too with the vehicle. Yes, this has lumbar support, but it's a manual type. I don't mind that whatsoever. Instead of like constantly spamming the buttons here on the left side, you can just simply do this at will. I mean, I've left it at max because I had a bad back before, and yeah, it's so comfortable to sit in. Mustang, so, and of course, you're not gonna off-road this that much knowing the market of the MU-X 4x2. Steering wheel is chunky, more of the durable side of things, but I don't mind it. Still nice to detach. The stitching all around is not that rough. And here are all of your buttons for your phone connectivity and volume functions all on the left side, and on the right side you get your instrument cluster adjustments and your adaptive cruise control functions. More on that later once we get to dive this. You have an analog tachometer, speedometer with a digital display right in the middle with, again, a lot of information needed. But I find this a little bit weird. To example, if you saw that shot, the lane keep warning is off, but you have to activate it or disable it there in the instrument cluster. It's not like a separate button. That's my only nitpick so far with the adaptive driving. So here on the left side of the dashboard, you get a cup holder with an adjuster for holding smaller items in place like bottles, and then further down you get numerous blanks, but you have functioning buttons for your rear air conditioning vents, for your electronic tailgate, and a small compartment just below. And then back here below the infotainment system. Okay, first time I had this, since I have this car for almost a week now, I couldn't find the hazard button. It's just above here in the infotainment system. Unique with this MU-X, you get dual zone climate control, and they're all knobs, which you can just spam it like that. If ever, at least it's not something buried here in the infotainment system, unlike modern cars nowadays. Further down, you get your AVM button, an aux cord, USB port, 12-volt socket, and once again, your wireless charging pad. And here in the center console itself, now being the 4x2 model, there's no more selector knob and buttons here for your 4x4 capabilities, but still you get your electronic stability control button and your hill descent. The hill descent I found pretty handy too. You can just set it again here on the steering wheel itself. So I like this feature because the hill descent and the adaptive cruise control here on the right side of the steering wheel acts as an all-in-one function. At least you don't have to press separate buttons now for the hill descent control. Electronic parking brake, auto hold function further behind, two cup holders, and center console box with a decent amount of space. But hilariously, I found this weird sound once you close it slowly. Sounds like a guitar string. We're jamming. On the right side, you get a double glove box, which is pretty standard nowadays in this class of vehicle. And above here, you get halogen lights, sunglasses holder, visor with the ticket clip holder, vanity mirror with halogen lights. Very good. They don't extend, sadly. So that's about here in front. Let's check out the second and third rows. So these are the second row seats of the Isuzu MU-X. Here in the door card, pretty much the same like the ones in front. You get cup holders and speakers here on either side. And look at the space. That's already my normal driving position. And look at that. I'm not even hitting the driver's seat anymore. And my headroom, about that much. So if I go here, which is not my regular driving position, look at that. I still have a lot of space. Pretty impressive with this MU-X. And if I sit here in the middle, yeah, the transmission tunnel is wide, but it's as tall as my ankles. Anyway, you can just simply put your feet up, no issue whatsoever. But sitting here in the middle is just a little bit stiffer per usual than in the left and right side of the seat because there's a central armrest over here. At least it makes up for it because once you open this, you have two pop-out cup holders. Very similar like with European stuff, I must say. Then here in the middle, you get a 220-volt outlet and two USB ports, which is a must in this segment. Then you get two map pockets over here and the famous 4-kilogram hook. So if you remember my 4x4 review during the autofocus test drive festival last May, I hurt my finger, which I got a boo-boo afterwards. So what I have not detailed before though, is we go to the third row. And now here in the third row, it's one of the most spacious in this segment, even than the likes of the Ford Everest. Storeroom, featroom is alright. My Neum is about that much, about a hand length. And the headroom is actually what impresses me the most. So I'm a small adult at 5'4", and you can fit at least 3 of me. Well, actually I had 3 of my family members here in the third row itself, and a further 4 or 5 in the second row. For a short tip only, this is the MU-X's selling point. You can fit more people here now than usual. I don't think you can do that in other vehicles in this segment. You get 2 cup holders and cubby spaces on either side, seat belts, and as well air conditioning vents all around the ceiling. And I forgot to mention, you get a halogen light with your aircon controls just above here. It's a knob as well. So that's about it here with the interior of this MU-X. Let's go for a drive. The Isuzu MU-X, I will now concede, having said in the past that this has the firmest ride in this segment, but having driven this for a week already, it's not so bad after all. I tried driving the MU-X with more than 8 passengers. The suspension did a good job of settling down over bumps and humps. And like with every other characteristic of Isuzu's, even the D-Max itself, the steering is heavier than usual, but it's not the heaviest ones in its class. But I would say the steering rack is pretty slow. I mean, look at that. Just shift lane. It's slowly going back to the middle. It's not as responsive as I once hoped. But this is not intended to be a sports car anyway. This is a mid-size SUV. The MU-X is on the larger size in the mid-size SUVs, but it's still somewhat easy to drive even on the tightest of streets. Well, not here like in Green Hills, but I tried it out in some like in the suburbs of Makati. It handled them with ease. Yes, you may have a very commanding driving position. I mean, as such, you're literally almost on top of the world. But per usual, the visibility is not hampered in any way. The steering feel, as mentioned in some of my Isuzu reviews, that it's on the heavier side of things. Expect a bit of workout when driving this as a daily, an example here like in city driving. However, it does offer a great sense of stability once you drive this on the highway. The 20-inch wheels does affect the ride slightly on slow, uneven surface driving. Once again, on highway driving, it's very, very stable. What many people love when this new MU-X last came out to our shores back in 2022 is the adaptive driver assistance systems, which many of the competition have now caught up already. The ADAS of this is very good. There's even a low speed follow, which I love. And ideally, this would be perfect for heavy EDSA city traffic driving like as such now. You may have lane departure warning, but ironically, this does not have lane keep assist. That's why you see that light in the instrument cluster always deactivated, because I mean, if there was such thing already here with this MU-X, I would have still turned it off because I preferably love to be in control of the steering wheel itself. NVH is average. Of course, you have the loud Brusco 3-liter diesel engine, but everything else is good. Not much wind noise here on the A-pillar, even tire noise translating in here to the cabin despite running on 20-inch wheels. The 6-speed automatic transmission may be a bit laggy at times, but make no mistake, once you get going, she really pulls. Wow. And with the 6-speed automatic transmission, I didn't bother anymore of using the manual mode because that's me shifting up a gear and it's not shifting up on command. However, it's very useful once you shift down and you accelerate like that. What impressed me the most with the driving dynamics of this Isuzu MU-X is the brake feel. It's a bit higher than usual, even the bite point itself. Then come to realization during my B-rolls earlier that this even has rear disc brakes. No wonder the brake feel of this feels much more sharper than usual. The Isuzu MU-X has one of the largest engines in this segment, and it's ironically one of the most fuel efficient too. This is the specialty with every Isuzu out there. In heavy EDSA city traffic driving like today, I manage only 8.8 kilometers per liter, and on better days you can do at least around 10 kilometers per liter. And in mixed driving, a bit of city with highway driving, you can do around 12 to 14 kilometers per liter. And this is where the impressive stuff is. Driving this on the highway, I managed 17.1 kilometers per liter without even trying, and I was able to get almost to the 19s as well at 2,230,000 pesos. This is priced right smack in the middle of the competition. I would say it's a decent price because you got the reliability, the space, the features, and all that. Not much people talk about this. Isuzu actually means 50 bells in kanji. The name was used from the Isuzu review that flows near to the Ise Grand Shrine, one of Japan's most sacred shrines. So this Isuzu MU-X earns my 50 bells of being the perfect SUV. And with that, thanks once again to Isuzu Philippines for the lend out of this Isuzu MU-X LSE 4x2 and for making this lend out review possible. Bye-bye.